Don't believe everything you think. Episode 16.
All right, so we're going to talk about thought distortions.
Yes.
And we all have them.
Oh my,
If
some of
you
us more than
think
others.
you have them.
Yes. I
All
love
right.
this one. This encompasses many varieties or variations.
Variations, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And thought distortions shape us so much about whether we believe we can or can't do something based on how distorted our thinking gets.
Yes. And you know me, we have talked about this many times. And what's so challenging about this is it's something for a long time I never even thought I needed to work on because I accepted them as absolute truth.
Yes.
They were absolute truth. What are you talking about? No, this is right.
Yeah.
I would believe anything I thought as absolute truth and never would think to challenge. There's nothing to work on because that's just, it's like I'm left-handed or right-handed.
Right.
I would accept that as that much of a truth.
No, absolutely. Or I'm 5'4" and it's not going to be, these are absolutes.
I love this topic. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just because it's so exciting when you start to crack open and the distortions and you realize that they are, it's a little bit unnerving for me anyway. It has been, but it's exciting. There's hope in there, and there's all the self-discovery that is a whole new opportunity. So I love that we're going to unpack this one.
Yeah. Well, and it is. I mean, a thought distortion, and let's talk about some of them, right? Yeah. So, black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking. Well, I'll never be good at this because I'm not, right?
Yeah.
Or, they don't like me because they weren't, didn't say hi, so they must hate me.
Yes.
Or I'm angry at this person, so they're all bad, right? So I'll never, right? And so it is that.
Or I didn't do this thing. I wasn't able to do this at one point. So I will never be good at that.
Well, I'll never be good at math, right? I'm great at statistics, but it was I can't do math, and I can't in many places, but it was so short-sighted, right?
Yes.
All right. And so,
and you accept it as truth. I think that's the biggest thing,
right? And right. Again, we all do it. So it's something everybody does. Catastrophizing. It's the end of the world. The worst thing is going to happen.
Yes.
If this happens, it's going to turn out in this way.
Yes.
Right? It's, the hurricane's coming and my house is going to be demolished, right? And it creates all of that
anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many different ways. The generalizing. One person mistreated me, so all the people of that type will always mistreat me. I can't trust any of them.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Or those kind of people don't like me because one person didn't like me. So many different ways you can go about this.
And generalizations. And I have a list. I'm gonna go through these because I think it's just for good measure. Other ones is I'll never get a promotion, right? Or I got passed over for this one. I'm never gonna get a promotion. It's never gonna be always and never, right? That's a generalization. She always. And how many of us have said that? You're always putting me down, or you never listen to me. Those
words are very toxic.
Yes. We've had this in relationships, right? Yeah. Well, you never listen to what I say. You never care about me. Those are not real, right? And so minimizing or magnifying my thing. Yeah. So minimizing or magnifying, right? And so, that's not really important. Or it's the end of the world. I had somebody the other day that I, asked, how's your mom doing? And just terrible. And I was like, oh no, what's going on? And in my world, it was something very little, but she experienced any disruption as just huge.
And all-consuming.
And so, that became the conversation that we had. So, is that as big as it feels?
Right.
Or is there a distortion there, right? That happens to all of us.
Yes.
So minimizing, it's not as bad as you think it is, or magnifying that it's huge.
These are
shoulds. I should be able to do this. I did it before.
Yep.
I should be better at this than I am.
Oh, yes, that's a big one.
I should know how.
Or I shouldn't. I shouldn't be this obsessed.
I shouldn't be this obsessed.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't care about that. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't really bother me.
Yeah. I should be able to handle all this.
We always say, when I worked in the field of addiction, one of the things we should all over ourselves, right? We should all over ourselves. Yeah. All right. Jumping to conclusions. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, you must be mad at me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you have, it's kind of like the fortune telling.
Yes.
Or where you, I write scripts that people are saying about me. Oh, they're thinking this about me.
Yes.
They're like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mind reading.
Mind reading.
Is part of
mind reading.
It's mind reading. Yeah. Yeah. Fortune telling. There's so many different, I mean, I have a list of 10, but
yeah, there's so many.
There are so many, and there's so many ways that we look at this.
Right.
So, but it is that idea that I can know what you're they must be talking about me. They must be thinking negative things about me. And we put it into our head, and then we operate from that place of this assumption, right? Let's see. Blame and personalization, right? And so it's that idea that we are, it's my fault. I always cause this. Things like this always happen to me.
If I had only done this, this.
If only I was younger, or if I hadn't, if I hadn't reacted that way, they would be thinking this or that, right?
Yep.
Emotional reasoning, which I think is fascinating because so many of us do this. Well, I feel this way, so it must be true.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Right? I'm afraid, so this must be something scary.
Yes.
Instead of recognizing that it's just discomfort.
It's just a response. And yes, it's just discomfort.
I had a good friend call me, and they were going to an event with people they didn't know and feeling really out of sorts.
Yeah.
And said, I don't know why I'm having this feeling about this. I'm not feeling great about myself. And I said, oh, it's discomfort.
Yes.
It's not really fear. It's not really scary.
So
it's
different.
Just discomfort. And when you can look at it like that, you actually you deal with discomfort all the time.
Right.
And I got a text later. Oh my gosh, that made all the difference. I walked through the door. I got there. I did it.
Yes.
And it turned out okay.
Yes.
But that thought of, I feel afraid. So there must be something wrong in this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if that was the case, I'd never get on a plane, right?
Right.
Because at some point,
it's not
everybody,
your favorite thing.
No, it's not. And at some point you always think, oh, well, what if this is not? And so it's that distortion, right? And so let's see if I have any mental filter.
There's so many good ones. Yeah.
The mental filter is where you're saying, you fixate on one thing, right? Oh, it's all ruined because this one thing went wrong, or none of it's good. I have to throw it all out because, baby with the bathwater, right? You can't, you don't do that, right? So it's just, there's so many thought distortions, and we are all so guilty of it. And so let's talk about why it happens.
Oh, I mean, it depends on which one you go for, but I think in general, it's from past experiences or past messages. I think that's the number one thing for myself.
Well, and how many of us give it to our children? And we got it from our parents, and we give it to our children, right?
Yes.
Because if we're always afraid of thunderstorms and we quake in our boots with our children, they learn that same. Thunderstorms aren't safe, right? Yeah. And how about if you have a parent that thinks thunderstorms are beautiful,
or
right?
Fun.
Or
fun.
Exciting. It's a great time to watch the sky, right? Those distortions based on your own experience create messages for children.
So many messages that you receive growing up from anyone you're around and society and culture. There are so many things.
Well, and if you have an over-worrying parent, then you worry about everything because they've worried about it.
Right, because that's all you've experienced. Yeah, or anytime you're around people, I think we mentioned this in another episode too, where if they're just critical or commenting on people's appearances and what that means.
Yes.
If they categorize them as they're more worthy because they're attractive.
Yes.
And this is what attractive looks like. Or something, and just comments, kids absorb those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know we both have in common some medical avoidance around Distortions about, oh no, if I know I'm sick, then then it's going to be the end, catastrophize a little bit there. But it's that idea that if I can just avoid it, then there'll be nothing wrong. There's nothing, don't look under this,
Absolutely. The avoidance is just so comforting and you feel safe.
And we oftentimes don't even recognize we're having that distortion. We just sit in the distortion. And act as if it's true.
I want to interject with a story.
Yes.
That I think you probably sat with me through this, but it involves the Rubik's Cube. I wish I brought one, but I share this story in the classes I teach because for the longest time, I tried to solve a Rubik's Cube twice maybe growing up, and I just, I'm not somebody who can do that. It wasn't affecting my life. Didn't care. What do I care about solving a Rubik's Cube? But I accepted that as absolute truth. I'm not someone who can do puzzles like that. I'm not good at it. I'm never going to be able to do that. Absolute truth. I'm not one of those people who can do that. Absolute end of story. Let it go. Truth. And then along comes my 11-year-old son, who growing up, he had all these fixations with magic trick phase, and then knock joke phase. And then it was a Rubik's Cube phase where he wanted to learn it and learned it through watching YouTube. And he was amazing, and I was proud of him. Great. Good for you. Move on. And he was determined to teach me.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
I do.
And I was a horrible mom. No, no. And he was pretty emphatic. No. If you cared about me, you would want me to be really good at this. And if you teach somebody, you become better. And I really was
he sold it.
And I was really frustrated. And I just shut him down immediately. Zach, I cannot learn this. I appreciate it. You just do it. You can teach someone else. Shut down. And it took somebody else, I forget who it was, someone was at my house, and just stopped me why don't you let him try to teach you? And I just caught myself saying, it feels so frustrating to me, and I don't want to lose it. I can't do that. And she was just gently insistent, why, you've never had him try to teach you. Why don't you try? And I said, okay, fine, but this is stupid. I really was all dial into it will not work. I learned how to do the Rubik's Cube. It took me longer than whatever, but I absolutely can learn how to do the Rubik's Cube. That blew my mind. And I will let you know that my fastest time at once was 57 seconds.
That's impressive.
Yes, I was proud. But I have used that example in my life so many times now I just start to question, wait a minute, is this really true? Or do I just not have enough tools right now? It was not true, but I would never have questioned it hadn't that new teacher not come along. And I wanted to share that because I think that's how we are with a lot of things. It's just, I'm terrible at interviews. And that you might have not had your best interview in the past or multiple. That does not mean that you are bad at interviews. It might mean you don't have the tools yet to make it a little bit better.
100%.
And so many different examples I can think of where I want you to try and question yourself.
Yes.
Take the time to just really look at, just because it feels true does not necessarily mean it is.
Well, and it's what happens when we believe the distortions is it creates a life that is less than what we could live.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So when we believe the distortions, right? And we know they come from experience, they come from childhood, they come from lived and observed experiences, right? There's so much programming and loading and we don't even need to talk about that. If you add trauma on top, you're more ingrained into believing. And it's all about what's happening in the brain, right? Because the brain, these distortions are actually meant to keep you safe, right?
Yes.
And safe doesn't mean...
like prevention of rejection or feeling stupid. Or it's a more comfortable thing to just have that little insulated bubble. Yes.
And it doesn't always mean growth. It means staying the same and staying in a place where we are the safest, right? There are no challenges there. However, most of us want more for ourselves.
Yes, and there's so much more out there.
Yeah.
That's what I want for everybody.
Yeah, and that means confronting some of these distortions. So, how do you know you're in a distortion? I'll start.
Yeah, start. That's
I
tough.
know that I am in a distortion because I'm thinking anytime I think something that is an I can't, I
Yes.
should, I won't, I just
Like a
recognize
shutdown. There's a little bit of a shutdown.
anytime it's a negative,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a distortion
Wow.
cycle.
Wow.
And I just have learned, and I will ask people when I'm working with them, I'll say, would you be willing just
Yeah.
to try and accept that anything negative you think
Mm.
is actually a
Well,
distortion?
that's the tough one for me.
It
Honestly,
is.
it's a tough one for
It's a
me.
tough from, but if you would just consider it,
Right.
even if you don't go down that road,
Yeah.
if you would just consider, right, gosh, is this really
What if this
unsafe?
really is just a distortion? But you've done that with me, and it bubbles up. I have
I know.
anxiety bubble up, and it's usually around body image.
Yeah,
It
of course.
really, for me, is that so frustrating that that's still there. But it is where you're like, that's a distortion. Like, no, it's true.
Yeah, but that is a deeper level of trauma. Some of
Yes.
this is just out of our patterns from childhood that were about,
Yeah.
my parents like me better if I'm this or that, or I'm wearing my mother's anxiety or my father's depression, right? It's things that come with distortions, right?
Yeah.
And so if you can suspend,
I like that.
and just
like, would you just consider, just entertain? Yeah.
And that's what I do now. If I think something about negative about myself, or I think something negative about someone else, or if a situation, and I go, is this a distortion? And that's the first thing that I consider is this, and so I just have learned to accept.
And to just be curious.
Just to be curious and to accept that there's a likelihood that my brain, because my brain is always in overdrive, is going to tell me that something is a distortion to keep me safe.
Yeah.
And safe means this instead of this. And I want this.
Wide open.
Right.
This is hands wide open.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is it? So that is my kind of, I just accept that if I'm thinking anything that is negative, that it is likely a distortion.
Yeah. So like I'll use the body image example. This has taken me till pretty recently where I like the body dysmorphic disorder, whatever, where I can look at myself in the mirror at one point and see one thing, and 2 hours later see a completely different Andrea. Yeah. And I know that can't be normal. I know that can't be consistent. I know that that's a distortion somewhere. I don't get it. I don't understand it. One of them is wrong. That is what's coming up, is how I can feel so different from day to day. Noticing what's coming up of like where I can feel okay one day and another day feel shame around my body.
Yeah.
And it's not as severe as it used to be. Obviously, it's much better. But that's kind of a strong word. But it for me, I think I know I'm in a distortion when there's contradictions and of what's coming.
I think that's beautiful. Contradictions.
Yes. Yeah. I think I'm like, oh, okay, something's off here. Something is lying to me. Something, and I'm okay with it now. I'm like, okay, something's off. That's all right. Let's lean in. What feels better? Yeah. And that's what I'm going to go to, is like, I am always searching what's a better feeling thought right now. I'm going to lean into the one that feels a little bit nicer, a little bit kinder. I'm going to go with that. Before, my go-to, it was almost like I deserve punishment. I'm going to go for the thing that's harsher and tougher because it's going to make me strong. That doesn't work for me, you know?
I am so glad you said that. I don't know we've ever talked about that. We are a society of believing that no pain, no gain.
Yep.
But the reality is that is not true.
And it doesn't work. It doesn't
work.
If it worked, you would be fine. You'd feel great.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything would be okay. And you and I decided to talk about this podcast because of that exact mentality.
Yes.
This idea that I have to be punished, to suffer, to have negative experiences so I'll do better. When reality is people do better when they feel better. So when you build them up, they have more desire to be even better. And so it's the same with distortion.
Yes. I try to lean into that one doesn't feel good. What feels a little bit better than this thought right now? Even if it is true, that's where I have to start. Even if it is true, because I really believe it, but I don't like how that feels. So I'm going to just really kind of like what you're saying, like what if there was something that's a little less true, that's so harsh? What is something that's a little bit kinder?
Softer.
Yeah. And I'm going to lean into that a little bit more. Yeah. And that becomes more true for me. Then I can start to see a little bit more regulated me. And,
So
perspective.
thought distortions are much bigger than just body distortions. But what I will say is I believe that most humans have body dysmorphia, and they have it at some point in their life, even if it doesn't stay with them forever.
Yeah, I agree.
And we are always looking at ourselves and projecting an unrealistic expectation, right? Like, I am never going to have long legs. There's no way. So holding myself account for something that is impossible, right? And so many of that dysmorphia, right?
Yes.
Is about idealized images that just can't. Right. But that's the same with other thought distortions. I'll never be good at this. They'll always be better than me. All of those things.
Or I know exactly what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And it's terrible, and
they don't like, nobody likes me. I'm not good at this. I'm not worthy because I can't or I can, right?
Right.
All of those distortions just feed our systems to keep us little and small, right? So we know what they are. We know that they're created through patterns and experiences, right? And the intention is to keep us safe.
Yeah.
But not to help us grow.
Correct.
So what do we do when we get in the world of a thought distortion? What are the tools that we use, right? And obviously the first one is naming
is awareness.
Is awareness.
Yes. And I think it's tricky. This is one of the trickiest things because again, we believe it's true, so you don't know to name it. I would never have thought, like the Rubik's Cube, it's a silly example, but I would never have thought that was a distortion. Like, okay, I have to focus on something that's more painful. You know what I mean? That didn't affect my life that negatively. So, but I loved that it came up. So to name it like, oh, wow. And it helped me see some other ones. And to really be able to be thoughtful about your life and curious, where is there a wall? Where is there those words? Yeah. And to name them, this is what's going on right now.
So for a lot of people who are in having a thought distortion, it's about the fringe. And so I ask people to think about the extremes.
Yeah.
So you are likely in a thought distortion if you are in an extreme. And so that's one way to find the thought distortion.
I like that.
If I'm saying, oh, I can't ever, and it's something I actually want to do, right? I love to throw pots on a potter's wheel, right? Am I ever going to create something that is gorgeous and I'm going to want to fire it and display it? I hope so.
Yeah.
Right. But I have been in that place where I'm like, well, I'm no good at this, so this isn't going to happen. I'm always terrible at this. I'm just doing this because this feels good.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's an extreme. I can never do this well. Is disingenuous, right? Because I probably could.
Right.
I probably could get there. But it's safer for me not to have to show people my work or to have to own that I love to sit with my hands in clay, right? And so we diminish ourselves. We minimize the good. This is, it's no big deal.
Self-deprecating. I don't want you to think that I think I'm pretty great because it's going to feel lousy if you criticize me. I've got you first. I mean, that's a huge one.
So many distortions, right?
Gosh, yes.
So when you name it, right? When you name, this might be a distortion. This might be a distortion.
Very powerful.
Because I'm in the fringe. Or if you are willing to accept what I accept, which is any negative that I'm saying in my head to myself,
about myself,
or about anybody else, is probably a thought distortion.
Yeah.
Right. And we do it all the time. We assign they're being a jerk, right? That's a thought distortion. Right. And it doesn't mean that a behavior doesn't feel like something that is jerky. But usually the intention behind it is about their own protection and not about us at all.
Yes, that's so important to remember.
Right. So again, I go back to, if I am willing to accept that if I'm having a negative thought, it's probably a representation of a distortion. I'm trying to convince people that that's the first place to look. Look under that rock.
I love that.
Or if you're in the fringe. Right. I don't know if there's anything else that I really use as a guide for that.
No, but I think that was a great place to start. That's great.
All right. So first thing is to name it.
Yep.
This might be a distortion.
What if this is a distortion?
What if it is?
Play with it a little bit. It's okay. You'll survive. You will survive because I know how difficult it is to even examine it. But it's worthwhile. That's such a worthwhile examination.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels good.
Good. So the next part is really about getting reconnected to yourself, because if you are in thought distortion land, your body is in fight or flight.
Yes. And I know when I'm there, I'm so disconnected from who I want to be, who the real me is. Yes.
Yes. Well, and it's about self-protection. So you are always going to say, oh no, this is right. This is safe. This is it. Yep.
You are wrong. Like,
you are wrong, right? So it's orienting, right? And so we've talked about a lot of different ways to orient. I don't know if we talked about four things you can.
I can't remember if we brought it. I talk about so many times in my sessions. I don't know if we've talked about it here, but let's bring it up again anyway.
Yeah. Well, so I do a little different one. It's one that I use a lot for hypnosis. And so it's 3 things you can see, 3 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, and just cycling through those. And so it sounds like, okay, so what are 3 things I can see? And I ask people to soften their eyes and just identify. I can see the floor. I can see a rug. I can see a couch, right? And so it's just getting into those things that you can see. And sometimes I'll challenge myself and I'll say, I want to see textures. Oh, I can see leather. I can see carpet. I can see wood, right? There are different ways that you can get into what they are. And what the intention is to bring you into the moment. And so you're not just checking off things.
Right.
You are actually physically moving into the present moment. That's what orienting is about. And so then it is, 3 things you can hear, right? Maybe it's the rain that we're hearing right now. Maybe it is my own breath. Maybe it's the AC, right? It's the more detailed you can be in it, the more present you are in it. And then 3 things I can feel. I can feel the couch underneath me. I can feel
the air in my face, the hair on my shoulder.
Yeah. The glasses on my head. I can feel the bracelet on my arm. The more specific you are, the more you orient to yourself, right? And so what begins to happen is heart rate begins to slow, breath begins to deepen and slow. You begin to be more present. And when you are more present, you are more regulated and you're out of the fight or flight cycle.
And the prefrontal cortex comes back online and you can be more rational and logical and kind of start to look at, is this a distortion? And you have to get that, you have to be present first to be able to see that. Yes, I love those.
It's so good. And then there is something called a gamut point. And maybe we've talked about this before, but it's down the web of your pinky finger and your ring finger. If you take your other hand and just run down between the webbing in your hand, you're going to come to where the 2 the tendons kind of meet, and you have a little point there. That is a gamut point, and it is a gamut point is what it's called, and they use it in EFT tapping, they use it in energy psychology, but they use it in so many different places. And it is actually on the fight or flight meridian pathway. And so tapping that point helps reset your nervous system. And I always put it on my heart center because it just feels good. And you can tap it for 30 seconds, 90 seconds, and then pause. Right? And then tap again. And this kind of calms the nervous system. It plugs into, in traditional Chinese medicine, it plugs into your fight or flight system, your stress response. And then you can change hands and do the same on the other side. And it builds coherence. It connects you to yourself. And gamut point is just rich. There's so many things. You can also just rub it, right? And move back and forth between those points. This one's a little tender today.
Yeah, mine was tender.
Yeah. When you find it tender, that means there's some energy stuck there. And that's a great thing to do, is trying to, and it just releases, right? So it's a great tool to use. And that is, okay, we've named it. We've calmed our nervous system, right?
Yeah.
And so then we ask ourselves, right, what would I like to believe instead?
Yes, I love that. We don't do that often. I mean, I never did.
No.
But my world has changed completely when I just offer that to myself. Like, how would I like to feel about this?
Yeah.
What would I like? And sometimes it's so ingrained you can't picture that. And it takes a little bit, but then when you come from a regulated place, it's like a wish list. Like, how would I like to feel about, like, keep going back to the Rubik's Cube example. If back then I had just said, I would love to be able to learn that. I would love to be able, and that would be cool.
Yeah.
And just let yourself, instead of that, look, I can't. It's like this, it's like
I
two
can't
different
is so
people.
final.
It's so final. Yes. And that never feels good.
It doesn't.
It's so simple. It's, the thing of, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel is such a powerful question. And we don't let ourselves go there.
No.
So, and it's just it's such a gift you can give yourself, because it unleashes, you feel your vibration rise. You feel your frequency. Everything shifts. The minute you just start changing the language, you can feel, I immediately, like, how do I want to feel about my body? I would love to feel as strong and confident and flow through my days. I immediately feel like I want to sit up straighter, and I want to, and it can affect everything if we don't let ourselves go that way. It's just, you're stagnant, you're contained, you're collapsed a little bit.
So it is so important to consider the other way to be.
Yes.
And when you ask yourself that, right, maybe you don't get to hear. Maybe you don't get to, I love the body I'm in and I feel great about, or this. But moving up a little bit, right? Well,
I always call it little pivots. Little pivots, like Ross from Friends.
Yes, do your
I
pivot,
show that in my class.
pivot.
Little pivot. But like sometimes you can't go from despair or shut down or an absolute thinking to complete freedom. But you can reach for something that's a little bit of a relief.
Yes.
That feels a little bit better. Sometimes we're just going for a pivot toward relief, and that feels doable too. And then you keep stringing these relief thoughts together, they're going to lead to much bigger steps. Yeah. But you need to have the rungs of the ladder close to you for the first step. Yeah. Yes.
So then, so I'm going to say two things about this. So when you find that you know what, I just want to believe that I'm safe.
Yeah.
When you want to feel safe, right? I go back to crossing. And I know I probably have said this in every episode that we do. It's one that I do so often. You know what? I just want to feel safe. I'm going to take my hand and put it on my left shoulder, and I'm going to swipe to my right hip. And then I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to swipe to my left hip. When you sit and say, I want to feel safe. I want to feel safe. I want to feel safe.
Yeah.
I feel safe. Watch the change in your language as your body begins to respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something called a response recognition. Anytime you begin to meditate or you begin to, do something to help your nervous system calm, you get things like
yawn or a burp or something.
Even a burp, yes. The gurgle in the
energy
stomach. Energy shifts. Your eyes running, your nose running. All of those are responses that your body is syncing up and thanking you.
Yes.
So it's good to remember that if you cross and you start to yawn, that's because this information, this work that you're doing on your body is settling in.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's really great to say, well, you know what? I want to feel safe. I feel safe. I feel safe. I feel safe. I feel safe. And the language will follow where you want to go.
Yeah.
But I encourage people to always start with that. And if you still feel dysregulated, do some of the other techniques. I feel safe.
Where you put your
hand on your forehead and the hand on the back of your head.
Yeah.
Or you can come in and hold both sides
of your head, the top of your head. Yeah.
So you're going to put both hands on each side of the head. I'm going to contain my thoughts. I feel safe. I feel safe, right? I feel safe. I feel safe. And the longer you sit in that place where you can connect it to your energy as you make that statement, you regulate it, and it becomes part of your system. And so
it's so exciting to me when anytime I've allowed myself.
Yeah.
It's really like a gift when I've allowed myself the time to really stay in that energy and that mindset and that intention. I cannot believe how much better I feel.
Yeah.
But we need to do this. We need to believe that we're worthy of the allowing of the good thoughts and the good feelings.
Well, you know, I say worth is a state of being.
Yes.
You were born worthy. There
Yes.
isn't anything you have to earn to be worthy, right? And so anything that has convinced you that your body's not good enough, your mind is not good enough, your face is not good enough, your clothes are not good enough, your car is not good enough, your house is not good enough.
Work, your
it's
relationships.
Not, it's a distortion.
Yes.
You are worthy. And you are worthy of feeling better just because, right?
Yeah.
We all deserve to be our most happy and highest and well-being that we are.
Yeah.
So, all right. So does that cover? I think we've worked through a lot of this.
So good. It feels so important.
Yeah.
This is something we carry every day, and there's so many tiny, tiny things we can do to feel better.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful world this would be if everyone felt that worthiness and could just have some, I don't know, some just regulated cognition. These normal, healthy thoughts about themselves that are beautiful. There's so many beautiful souls out there, and they don't know it.
Well, and so, you know, you see me also doing this. You see me doing figure eights a lot of times. I don't think we've talked about that one, so that one might be new. Putting figure eights anywhere on your body and in your field around your throat. When I get stuck not having...
Just moving your hand in a figure eight.
Just moving your hand in the figure eight, right? Just doing that on pain sites, on, you know, stuck thoughts. I had somebody in my office this week who was finding that she had a stutter. I had her just do this, you know, the figure eight all around her throat, and it just clears up.
Oh, wow.
When you repeat figure eights while you're thinking about I am safe, right?
It's so easy too.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
And it works through your auric field. It works on your physical body, right? I always tell I broke my toe on the way to a class that I was taking. I walked into the door jam and it went this way, and it was,
my gosh.
by the time I got to the class, because I got in the car and drove, and I had, you know, it was black and blue and it was swollen, and I was like, well, all I'm gonna do.
You did figure eights.
I did figure eights. I sat in the class with my foot propped up and I did figure eights. By that night, the swelling was gone. By the time I left the class 2 days later, it was not black and blue. And I'm telling you, it was huge and it was black and blue.
That's amazing.
And figure eights repeat our DNA, and they relieve the body of stress, of energy. It's just such a wonderful thing.
Wow.
So when I go and speak places, you'll see me doing this, and, you know, on my throat, I'll do figure eights to give myself that ability, sustainability to be able to be there. So
beautiful.
When you're working through thoughts, that works as well. So I know I could go on all day, but I'll stop here because I think it's time, because I'm waiting for your joke.
I know you are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to get this right. Thank you, though. This was wonderful.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Good stuff. Okay. I'm going to try and get this right. I asked my dog what was 2 minus 2, and he said nothing.
Okay, I got it. I love it. Thank you. Any dog
like
jokes?
dogs. So
I like dogs. They don't take it. I'll take it. He said nothing. Yes.
Good job. I'm very proud of your handling of the joke.
Yes.
You've come a long way.
Yeah. Well,
thank you,
when
April.
I get
This
them,
was
right.
I love this.
I don't get them.
I love this conversation.
Yeah, good.
This was good.
Thank you.
Okay.